Lavanya is sending you a link for documentation purpose. No need to share it anywhere right now.
Okay, okay.
Let it be there. Past President Nishit, welcome.
Hello. Hi.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening.
Hello, Nishit. Good evening.
Good evening, Meera ma'am. Welcome. Yeah, we could see you now.
Good evening, Meera ma'am.
Good evening. How are you?
I'm good, ma'am. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
Vice President Prajwal, welcome. Ashwini, welcome. I guess we can start in another 2 minutes. Pooja, meanwhile, you can put the link of the form which you require some of the participants to fill.
Hello.
Yeah. You
Yeah,
may you may put the link of the form in chat
I
box.
put the form. All the club members
Cool.
can
Okay. Okay. Great. Protractor Suvini Sethi, welcome back after a long time. And once again, I guess if I'm not wrong, she was our winner of the quiz, right?
Yeah, Ashmandi.
Okay.
Hi, Suvini.
Hi, Akshat. Good evening.
Hi, sir. Good evening. Good evening, everyone.
Hi, Rakshit. Good evening.
Good evening, President.
We are a dozen plus two now.
Yes, ma'am. So I guess we can begin. We are at 5-4. So warm welcome to you all. Let us begin today's event. Meanwhile, our few more participants will be joining. So we all know that every organ of our body is very important, and when there is a situation where we are in a state of saving someone else's life by donating a part of us so that we can live for a longer time, that would be one of the greatest honor probably which we would get a lifetime or a once in lifetime honor. So today we are here to learn about organ donation, its advantages, and how we can proceed ahead. So I lend you all a very warm welcome to this online session on organ donation awareness being organized by Rotaract Club Bangalore Shisharipuram in association with Medical Students Association of India. So before we could proceed ahead, let us reiterate and instill or install in us the ethical rotary four-way test, something which will help us to proceed ahead, something which will help us to probably lead a wonderful life. So I wish now to share my screen and kindly repeat the four-way test in your mind as I recite it so that we can have this installed in our life throughout. So the rotary four-way test of the things we think, say, or do. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Wonderful, isn't it? So one of the best example we can give for the rotary four-way test is in fact the organ donation. So it is a truth, it is fair to all concerned, and it does build goodwill and better friendship, and it will be beneficial to all concerned. Whether we are alive or not, our organs will be alive for a very long time. So without taking further ado, I invite our president, Protractor Lavanya, to deliver the welcome address. President, over to you.
Thank you, Srimati. Hope I'm audible. If you could confirm me.
Yes, you are.
Thank you. Good evening and warm welcome to you all on this pleasant Sunday evening. Well, it's my immense pleasure to welcome you all on behalf of Rotary Club of Bangalore Sheshadipuram to the awareness session on organ donation, as rightly said by my immediate past president, Rotractor Srinadi. So, yeah. So, on behalf of all the members of Rotary Club of Bangalore Sheshadipuram, I welcome the resource person of the day, Rotractor Pooja Prasad, Chair of Disease Prevention and Treatment Committee of Rotary Club of Bangalore Sheshadipuram, and Sirisha, student of Medical Student Association of India. Warm welcome to you both and happy to have you among us. So, and would also like to recognize the presence of our young and energetic club advisor, Rotarian Meera. Warm welcome, ma'am. I also welcome Project 3 Chair, past President Rotractor Apurva. I also welcome immediate past President of Rotary Club of Bangalore Sheshadipuram, Rotractor Shrunadi. Warm welcome to Joint Secretary, Rotractor Rakshit, Vice President, Rotractor Prajwal, and warm welcome to past President Nishit, and warm welcome to all the other President and Secretaries of other clubs, past Presidents, to all my fellow Rotractors, non-Rotractors, invitees, guests, warm welcome to you all. Over to you, Shannon. Thank you.
Thank you, President. A warm welcome to you too. So it is an honor for us to have two young, energetic leaders who are here, who is going to enlighten uh, us today. So I take the chat box message to be a simple one. Let's see. Okay, so we have a wonderful. Okay, give me 1 minute. I'm left with no option to remove you people in case we see not comfortable and not disciplined reactions. I'm very sorry with that. We had to remove one of the participants. So when we all are confined to our house, but yet we are in the comfort of taking up such wonderful sessions, I guess we all have to make the best use of it. Sorry if the teacher in me is trying to give out a lecture here. Once again, I will come back to introducing the speakers of today, Dr. Pooja Prasad and Dr. Sirisha Suresh. So, a part of Medical Students Association of India, handling the local chapter here. Both of them have been wonderfully taking up a lot of awareness sessions, and this is not the first session which they are handling. They have handled a lot of sessions about aging and about the blood donation awareness and several other sessions which we have actually listened to. So I take this privilege to welcome Protractor Pooja Prasad and Ms. Sirisha Sudesh and invite you both to take up today's session. Over to you.
Thank you, Srinidhi. So, we'll be talking about organ donation today. So, you take memories to the grave and not your organs. So, what is organ donation? Organ donation is the process of retrieving a human organ from a living or deceased person, the donor, and transplanting it to the recipient to save their life, who is suffering from an end stage organ failure, such as renal failure, liver failure, or heart failure. An end stage organ failure refers to a condition in which a particular organ does not function as needed, which can prove to be life threatening. For example, in end stage renal disease, the kidneys are no longer able to work as they should to meet the body's needs. Organ transplantation. So it's an effective therapy for end stage organ failure and is widely practiced around the world. The access of patients to organ transplantation, however, varies according to their national situations and is partly determined by the cost of healthcare, the level of technical capacity, and most importantly, the availability of organs. The shortage of organs is virtually a universal problem. In some countries, the development of a deceased organ donation program is hampered by socio-cultural, legal, and other factors. Situation of organ donation in India. It is estimated that the total number of deaths due to road accidents in India is nearly 1.5 lakhs annually. Most of these victims suffer severe traumatic brain injury and are often declared brain dead. Other prominent causes of brainstem death potentially add many more numbers. So India's organ donation rate was recorded as 0.52 per million population in 2019. The total number of deceased donors in India in 2019 were only 715. There's a need of approximately 5 lakh organs annually. Barely 2 to 3% of the demand is met, and many people die of organ failure while waiting for a transplant on the waiting list. Every year, following number of people need organ or tissue transplant as per organ specified. So for kidney, they need around 2,50,000, liver around 80,000, and heart 50,000, cornea 1 lakh. As of 2019, India had 523 kidney transplant, 185 liver transplant centers, 134 heart transplant centers, and 74 lung transplant centers. But lack the infrastructure is only one of the issues hampering organ donating in India. In India, around 5 lakh people suffer from organ failure who require an organ transplant each year. India remains a country with one of the lowest organ donation rates in the world. So one organ donor can save up to 8 lives. Sorry, can save up to 8 lives, and one tissue donor can save up to 75 lives. So organs which can be donated are heart, lungs, kidney, liver, and pancreas, small intestine. Okay, somebody has raised her hand.
Okay, I have a small note of advice to all the co-hosts. Today, the waiting room will be under my complete control because we have some specific disturbances which I wish to handle so that there is a smooth flow. So none of you let any of the participants in. I will please handle it. And any raise of hand, we will take the questions by the end of the session. So not to worry. Please continue, Rudraksha Puja.
Yeah. So organs which can be donated are heart, lungs, kidney, liver, pancreas, and small intestine. Tissues which can be donated are cornea, bones, skin, heart valves, blood vessels, nerves, tendons, and ligaments. Types of organ donation, they can be living organ donation or deceased organ donation. So, living organ donation. When an organ is retrieved from a healthy living person and transplanted into a patient with end stage organ failure, it is known as living organ donation. In India, it is commonly done in case of liver and kidney. A living donor can donate one of his or her kidneys and a part of the liver. A liver donor is mostly a near relative and parents, grandparents, siblings, spouse, children, and grandchildren. In case of non availability of a near relative, a distant relative, or someone unrelated to the patient, such as friends, colleagues, can come forward to donate organs. Such living donors require the authorization from the State Authorization Committee to donate organs through a separate permission. Such donation can be done only out of love and affection, and a kind of monetary exchange comes under an unlawful practice according to the Tota Act 1994. So, the process of living organ donation, there's living donor needs to undergo certain medical tests to confirm their compatibility with the recipient. Once this is duly done and proper approval via a committee is obtained, the donation and transplant takes place. The donor's organ, that is one kidney or a part of the liver, is surgically retrieved by the doctor and transplanted into the recipient. The living donor needs to remain under medical care and observation for a few days after the organ retrieval is done before they are declared fit to leave. This tenure varies from person to person. So now, what is deceased organ donation? So in this process, someone who donates organ after death. Organs are retrieved mostly from the person who has suffered uh, brain stem death, which commonly occurs due to severe irreversible injury to the brainstem, leading to cessation of all activities of the brainstem. In order to save and support the vital functions of the injured person, the patient is put on a ventilator. Artificial external support allows for organ to remain viable long enough. If the injured person is declared brainstem dead, eventually during treatment these organs can be retrieved for the process of organ donation only after consent is given by the family members. Brainstem death is a form of death and is irreversible with no scope of recovery. It is unique because mostly it is only after brainstem death that organs can be donated for transplantation. So, a person who dies due to cardiac causes or cannot donate vital organs as they die within minutes. So, these are people who die of heart attacks or any heart diseases. So, due to lack of circulation leading to the lack of oxygen to these organs, the tissues can be donated in this case, such as cornea, bones, skin, bone marrow, tendons, ligaments, and cartilage. These can be donated, but organs cannot be donated. So, procedures for brainstem death declaration. A panel of 4 doctors are required, and there's a committee who in every hospital who declare them as brain dead, and it should be done 2 times within a gap of 6 hours. So, a registered medical practitioner is present and who is a part of the panel, and also one of them should be a neurologist and there and the medical practitioner who is treating the patient should also be present. These 4 members certify the patient as brain dead. So the donor's family has to give consent for the organ donation before the process of organ retrieval can be carried out. After getting the consent from the family, appropriate nodal agency is notified. Suitable recipients for all the organs are identified by the nodal agency from a waiting list. They are notified and asked to reach their respective hospitals. After retrieval, the body of the donor is respectfully handed over to the family. Now, there are some laws and rules governing organ transplantation in India. So there was a rule which was enacted in 1994, and this is the Transplantation of Human Organs and Tissue Act, and it was again notified in 2014. So it regulates the removal, storage, and transplantation of human organs for therapeutic purposes. Also, it prevents commercial dealing in human organs. Permits and lays down rules and regulations for organ donation after brainstem death. And brainstem death is irreversible, severe injury to the brain, leading to cessation of all activities of the brainstem. So there is lays down all the rules and regulations for living organ donations also. And there's some main provisions under the act. So it allows transplantation of human organs and tissues from living donors and deceased, that is cardiac or brain death. And then formation of regulatory and advisory bodies. Some of them are NOTO, ROTO, and SOTO. So then there's central government shall maintain a registry of the donors and recipients of human organs and tissues. Also, the cost of donor management, retrieval, transplantation, and preservation to be borne by the recipient institution, government, NGO, or society, and not to be done by the donor family. There's something called swap transplantation. So, when a near relative living donor is medically incompatible with the recipient, the pair is permitted to do a swap transplant. And some of the other provisions, they can organ retrieval permitted from any hospital with ICU facility, qualifications of transplant surgeons and cornea and tissue retrieval technicians, and appointment of transplant coordinators, and non-NGOs and registered societies and trust working in the field of organ or tissue removal and storage and transplantation. Penalties for removal of organs without authority, making or receiving payments for supplying human organs, or contravening any other provisions of the Act. So it is illegal to transplant organs for any monetary purposes. Now, Sirisha will be talking.
Thank you, Pooja. Am I audible?
Yeah, now you are.
Yes. Thank you, Pooja. Now about eye donation. Eye or cornea donation refers to the donation of outer transplant layers of eyes after the death. Eyes can only be donated when we don't need them, that is, after a person's death. Those of us who wish for eyes to be used after we die can pledge them while we are alive. Pledging eyes is a noble act which ensures that your eyes continue to help someone else see the world even after you are no more. It is an altruistic act and is entirely voluntary. The eye donation or cornea donation is a tissue donation that has been authorized by the next of kin of the deceased, even if the deceased has pledged his or her eyes. And a corollary to that is that the next of kin can also permit to donate eyes of the deceased, even if he or she did not pledge to donate his or her eyes before death. Why cornea donation? An estimated 35 million people are either already or going blind in the developing world. As many as 3 million of them can have useful vision back following a corneal transplant, of which nearly 60% are children under the age of 12 years. To clear this immense backlog of patients, 150,000 corneal transplants must be performed every year in India alone. Almost half of the world's blind population resides in India. The number of people in India who are blind is close to 15 million. 6.8 million of these have corneal blindness, with vision less than 6 by 60 in at least one eye. This number is projected to reach 10.6 million by 2020. As many as 1 million are blind in both eyes, and this bilateral corneal blindness is potentially reversible. Corneal blindness encompasses a range of eye conditions that alter the transparency of the cornea, leading to corneal scarring and eventually blindness. Salient features of eye or cornea donation. People of all ages and gender can donate their cornea. Use of spectacles for short-sightedness, long-sightedness, or astigmatism, or even those operated for cataract, is also not a contraindication. Patients who have diabetes, those suffering from hypertension, and asthma patients can also donate eyes. Contraindications for eye donations are patients diagnosed with or died from AIDS, hepatitis B or C, rabies, septicemia, acute leukemia, tetanus, cholera, meningitis, or encephalitis cannot donate eyes. Eyes are not donated also in the case of death by drowning. In conditions considered absolute contraindications for transplantation, the donor family is informed clearly and made fully aware of this fact. Eyes are not retrieved unless the donor family is fully aware of this and still wishes to donate. Steps to be taken while awaiting team from iBank. There are some critical precautions that need to be taken to preserve the eyes while awaiting the arrival of the team from the iBank to ensure that they remain viable. Close the eyes of the deceased gently and place a piece of moist cotton over them. Raise the head with great care with a pillow to lessen the incidence of bleeding during the removal of the eyes. Ensure that all fans where the deceased person's body is laid to rest are switched off. It reduces desiccation and dying of the eyes and corneas. If acceptable to the family, try and put a polythene car with few ice cubes on the forehead, especially in the summer months. If possible, instill antibiotic eye drops periodically to prevent infection and drying of the cornea. How are the donated corneas used? Traditionally, each person who donates eyes can provide the gift of sight to two blind people. With the advent of convolutional surgery of the cornea, in which layer of cornea is transplanted for a specific indication, one eye has been provided sight to 5 patients. When you donate a pair of eyes, you are enabled to 10 sight-saving operations. All the eyes donated to the eye bank are used and a record is maintained. Eyes that are not medically suitable for corneal transplant may be used for medical research and education. These unfit donated eyes provide the doctors with critical and valuable insight into many conditions of the eye and can develop and can help to find the cure for several diseases hitherto considered untreatable. Eye donation thus not only restores sight for the blind, it also makes research into new treatments possible. So, what do you have to do to pledge your eyes? To pledge your eyes, you can fill a form which is available in all major hospitals and eye banks. You can access this form online. The link for doing so is provided below. We'll later share that in the chat box. This link will give you all the information you need to register on the website of the Organ India. The link for to locate an eye bank near you will be shared later, and even the one to help you register. It is crucial that you communicate your decision to your family, since in the event of your demise, it is them who will need to inform the eye bank of your pledge. So the eye bank may collect your eyes at the earliest. What are the reasons of shortage of donated organs, especially in India? Lack of understanding the concept of brain stem death. When a person is declared brain dead, it is difficult for the family to initially accept the death as the body is warm and the heart continues to beat. Brainstem death is often confused with coma, and the family harbors hope of patient reviving. Hence, doctors find it difficult to convince the family members to consent for organ donation. And family consent is paramount. Myths and misconceptions. If I donate my organs, I may be born without that organ in my next life. Organ donation is expensive. Many people believe that their families will have to bear the economic burden of organ retrieval after their death. Instead of seeking medical advice, people make assumption and decide to not donate organs. What are the reasons of shortage of donated organs in India? Lack of education and awareness. Lack of awareness among the attendants of a brain dead patient, lack of awareness among the general public about organ donation, organ donor cards, and the process of organ donation add to the myths and misconceptions associated with organ donation in our country and make organ donation a tedious task. Many times, doctors are also not fully aware about the process of organ donation and things related to it, which make it difficult for them to counsel the family of the deceased brain dead person to take the vital decision. Less number of brain death declarations in hospitals. There is often a lack of awareness among medical professionals about the process of brain death declaration. Many brain death cases occur in government hospitals where brain death declaration is slow. Also, not many government hospitals are involved in the process of organ transplantation and retrieval. What are the myths and the facts to be known? Myth. There are certain things that can keep me from being an organ donor, such as age, illness, or physical defects. Fact. Everyone can take the pledge to be an organ donor. Even people living with chronic diseases or those who have a history of cancer or other serious diseases can still encourage to join the donor registry. If a person meets brainstem death, then their medical condition is evaluated to determine what organs and tissues are viable for donation. Myth. If doctors know that I am registered to be an organ or tissue donor, they won't work as hard to save my life. Fact. The first priority of a medical professional is to save lives when sick or injured people come to the hospital. Organ and tissue donation isn't even considered or discussed until after brainstem death is declared. Typically, doctors and nurses involved in a person's care before death are not involved in the recovery or transplantation of donated corneas, organs, or tissues. Myth. If you're rich or a celebrity, you can move up the waiting list more quickly. Fact: the process of allocation of donated organs is strictly regulated and monitored by NOTTO. Severity of illness, time spent waiting, blood type, and match potential are the factors that determine your place on the waiting list. A patient's income, race, or social status are never taken into account in the allocation process. Myth: after donating an organ or tissue, the body may become disfigured. Fact: organ procurement organizations treat each donor with the utmost respect and dignity and do not lead to any disfigurement. A myth: my religion doesn't support organ and tissue donation. But the fact is, most major religions support organ and tissue donation. Typically, religions view organ and tissue donation as an ultimate act of charity and goodwill. If you can discuss organ and tissue donation with your spiritual advisor if you have concerns on this issue. A myth that my family will be charged for donating my organs. The fact is, costs associated with recovering and processing organs and tissues for transplant are never passed on to the donor family. The family may be expected to pay for medical expenses incurred before the consent is given to donate organs by family members. Who can be an organ donor? Living donor: any person above 18 years of age who voluntarily authorizes the removal of any of his organ and/or tissue during his or her lifetime as per prevalent medical practices and conditions for therapeutic purposes. Deceased donor: anyone, regardless of age, race, or gender, can become an organ and tissue donor after his or her death, if it's brainstem or cardiac. Consent of a near relative or a person in lawful possession of the dead body is required. If the deceased donor is under the age of 18 years, then the consent required from one of the parents or any near relative authorized by the parents is essential. Medical suitability for donation is determined at the time of death. What does signing a pledge card mean? Pledging your organs is a simple procedure. Registering as an organ donor is merely an expression of your intent to be an organ donor. The donor card has no legal weight, but only a way to express your intent. There are several agencies, like government, NGOs, and private, where one can pledge to donate organs. The pledge is not country or state or hospital specific. At the time of brain death, the donor is on a ventilator and the hospital team approaches the family for organ donation. Making a pledge is not mandatory for organ donation, but it does help the family to make the right decision. According to the Indian law, it is your next of kin who will decide whether to donate your organs or not upon death. If you have pledged your organs, no donation will happen unless the next of kin gives their consent. Hence, it is of utmost importance that at the time of signing up as an organ donor, one shares the decision with the family. Signing up to get a donor pledge card. If you want to sign a pledge card, you may do it here. The link to this will be shared in the chat box. You can access it there. Step 1, click on fill the pledge form, then fill the form with correct credentials, then select other under where did you hear about us and mention MSAI under which awareness session. Then click on next and submit.
Yeah, so now I'll just be opening this link so you can see the website. So this is an organization which has called Organ India, where you can donate organs, and this is the application form or the pledge where you take and you can become a donor. And also the other links, just go through that. So this is for locating an eye bank near you. You can select your state and the city, and the eye bank centers will be shown to you. And this is
So,
like
shall
how
we
to,
take some questions or is there?
I want to show a video. I will just show a video on organ donation now, after which we can have questions.
Anita, तुम तैयार नहीं हुई। वो लड़की आने वाली होगी।
मुझे नहीं मरना उससे। और तुम्हारा भी।
अनिता, अगर
Hello, are you able to see the video?
Yes. Please proceed.
तुम्हें पसंद नहीं था तो मना कर देती।
हाँ, ताकि दुनिया के सामने मैं बुरी बनती।
क्या तुम्हें अपने बेटे पर इतना भी भरोसा नहीं? ये उसका अपना फैसला था।
और मेरा कोई हक नहीं था।
अनिता, अगर तुम नहीं मिलोगी तो तुम्हारे बेटे का दिल दुखेगा। या?
जी। आंटी, ये आपके लिए। अब जब चाहे अपने बेटे से बात कर सकती है।
Yeah, thank you. I have sent all the links on
Thank
the chat
you.
if anybody wants to go through the website to register and pledge.
Thank you so much, Retractor Puja. I take this privilege to welcome DRR Sumankita Pomina from RAD 3160. Pleasant surprise and honor to have one of the DRRs with us here. Warm welcome to you. So we'll have some discussions here today so that we would be able to understand some facts which we have missed out. Not missed out, probably we wouldn't have noticed properly. The first thing is we all know that donation of organ is very important, but it is not in the mainstream of people, maybe because of various reasons. You have already given us examples about how to clear the myths and given us the facts, as in the religion doesn't stop us, and there are various other things which doesn't stop us. But when we look into the transplantation of organs, as medical students, we have three medical students who are here. Can you give us an explanation what happens when an organ is transplanted from one person to another person? Because we all know about the reaction where the body doesn't actually accept it that easily. So can you let us know how complicated it is?
Yes, so basically there's like immunity and the blood matching, and there are some genes and all that which you have to match before finding who is the perfect recipient donor for the recipient. So usually it will be your family members, like your close parents or children, sisters and brothers. Apart from that, for cornea and certain tissues and all, it doesn't have to be your actual family members. They can be anybody. And yeah, it's like all the surgical procedures. It takes up the, and also this host organ tissue reaction which happens, graft versus host reactions. So over there they can have like a severe immune reaction which they are not accepting the organ, and organ rejection can occur, but usually that is very rare. And they give immunosuppressants like how Mira ma'am has asked in the chat box, and that helps with the organ.
Okay, so I guess if I could, President, do you have any questions? Okay, Meera ma'am has asked the same question. The receiver has to take immune suppression drugs for how long and is it costly? Would you like to explain a little more on this?
Yes, so they will be prone to more diseases, all bacterial diseases and all. So they'll have to take immune suppression drugs, and it is usually lifelong, and sometimes maybe not. For corneal and all, there is no requirement of immune suppression. It's for you mostly for liver, kidney transplant, and or organ transplant. Costly, I'm not sure about it. How much it costs?
Okay. So we have a young, energetic leader who has been spearheading the task of blood donation drive in our International District 3190, President Sudakshit. So Sudakshit has a question. I believe I pass it on to you, President.
Like I have a question. Like have registered for Nayana Jyoti already for the eye donation. So if at all I register for this as well, so how will they get tracked into? And one more thing,
Okay.
like if at all in future, if at all I pass away, like how will the doctors get to know that I am a donor or not? So how will they be tracked to these things? So this is my question.
So Nayana Jyoti is eye donation. The whatever you have signed in is for eye donation, and you might have received a card. So even I have pledged my eyes to Narayana Netralaya. So we all have received our donation cards. So if in case you are getting such kind of pledging cards which are there with you, in case of our sudden expiry, and if that is not due to any unusual circumstances, and if our organs are intact and if they are in a good state to be donated, then our family members will have to contact whichever organization we have pledged our eyes or our organs to, and they will do the favor of coming over to our location or taking us to the hospitals and performing whatever necessary surgical procedure has to be done and give back the body back to the family.
Okay, suppose
If in case,
okay, I'm sorry. Suppose if I am interested, but later on my parents will not allow. Like when I have passed away, due to some emotional thing, they doesn't allow. So during these circumstances, how will they treat?
So that is when we as Rotractors take up an initiative to have awareness sessions and counseling sessions to convince people of all ages that this is not some, it's not a taboo, and it's something which can be taken up, and it is going to provide life for a lot of people. So an awareness have to be created. In the initial stages, there will be a lot of friction because we are very new to it. But as the days pass, people will get used to and understand the importance of donating organs.
True, true, true. So I was just confused, and I was very much curious to know about these things. That's it.
So today, whatever we had is an awareness session. It is a preliminary awareness session. We'll be taking up it to a greater scale in the coming days and getting a few more organ donors to talk about how their experience was while donating organs, and also some of the doctors who are working with the organ banks, whichever it may be, and taking their inputs. So I would go ahead with a few more questions in the chat box. President Lavanya asks us, does it cost anything to donate tissues or organs? So I guess Sirisha did make a comment on that. Would anyone of you like to answer this question?
So Lavanya has asked any age limit of donating. So it depends on the health status of the person. If he is all fine, then they can donate it at any age after 18 years of age.
Okay. Okay, so ma'am, Meera ma'am asks us a question. Many people can't afford the post-transplantation costs. It is a very serious effect because I know one of my best friend when his father had to undergo a situation where his kidney has to be transplanted. So they had told be ready with two donors. If one fails, then you'll have to go ahead with another, and it was a process which would cost in lakhs. That's the reason why people usually, in our scenario, we are not in a state of taking such kind of transplantations easily, but under possible circumstances, we have seen how the government supports by providing green corridor. If you have heard about what green corridor is, it's a traffic free road where heart plant transplantation takes place from a brain dead person, and the airports are kept free, the roads are kept free of traffic, and the government helps in this particular purpose. So there is a support from all the places, and there are donors who wish to support. There are people who wish to lend their supporting hand, but it is a costly process. We need to agree with that. So, Meera would you like to talk something with respect to it? We are very sorry we muted you. You can unmute yourself now.
Very short question. In
Yes,
our
ma'am.
Indian conditions, not many people can afford the post care. I'm being very honest. I told my children, and my husband has also told, we have discussed, allow us to go. We can't pauper somebody for our this thing. I mean, it is my personal opinion. We both had decided that we will not in that case. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you,
It's a very
ma'am.
serious problem. The monetary, this thing is a very serious problem. Thank you.
You know, so if we have any more questions, we can take it up in the chat box. So upcoming,
Lavanya has asked
yes,
how
yes,
are recipients matched to donors.
yeah.
Yeah, so again, that is like all that is the technicians, they do it like how, what is the blood group, what is there are many like immunological things which they have to match, and depending on that they will see whether it will be matched or not.
So as a biology person who has handled biology in school level, if I can speak, so it is not an easy task where the RH factor and the blood group matches of the donor and the recipient. And for people who did not know, the medical field did try once to transfuse the blood of cow to human beings when there was a loss of blood, and people used to die because the body couldn't take it. And a lot of various reactions, immunosuppressant reactions used to happen, and alien objects are always thrown out by the body. It doesn't accept it easily. So it's a very complicated process, but we have professionals and experts in the medical field who can find out which donor can donate to which recipient, and they mix and match it. A lot of work is done beforehand when such kind of transfusion or transplantation occurs. Yes, Surakshit says antibodies has to match here, right? So there is a form which has been sent across in the chat box. This is for the post session awareness, the awareness which you have received after the session, and you can fill it up so that the Medical Students Association of India will have a database with them, which will help them in taking up many more such kind of events. We thank Pooja and Sirisha for providing us wonderful information, and considering that there are no questions, and with the permission of President, if I may be allowed to present the vote of thanks, or if there is anything which you want to share, President, please go ahead. Okay. Uh, we have DRR of 3160, Protractor Sumankita. So it is for the first time we are having you in Rotary Club of Bangalore Shesharipuram's event. Would you like to share any of your thoughts? And I'm very eager to work with your district. If there is something in your busy schedule, if you can make time for a minute or so, it would be grateful.
Hi everyone. Uh, I feel very honored today. This is an amazing session, and being a doctor, it's very interesting to know much more about organ donation for me. And I thank 3190 district and Rotary Club of Seshadripuram for organizing such an amazing event on this topic. Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Diara. Thank you so much for addressing us. It really added up a value to our program. Please do visit all our events and keep supporting. Let's have a wonderful retraction. Thank you so much. So we come to the end of today's session on online session on organ donation awareness. We'll be taking up international project on this particular concept, and we'll be sharing across information across to all the Rotract clubs across India and abroad, and we'll be letting you know how we would take forward this particular movement. So keep in touch with us and let us await more information. So I wish to thank the presence of our club advisor, Rotarian Mirabai Shankar ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am, for being here with us and your continuous support. And please do stay back because there is a training session upcoming which will be handled by past President Apurva. And I wish to thank the Medical Students Association of India, the office bearers of MSAI for permitting this particular program, and also to the members who have handled Rotractor Puja and Ms. Sirisha Suresh. Rotractor Puja being our own chairperson of District Disease Prevention and Treatment Committee of Rotary Club of Bangalore Shesharipuram. Thank you so much. I wish to thank DRR Suhankita. I wish to thank presidents of all the clubs who are here, President Nagendra, President Surakshit. It's really wonderful to have you both here with us. Continue supporting our club, and we wish to stay in touch with you both. I wish to thank the past presidents of our club for being here throughout. Road Tractor Nishit, past president Road Tractor Apurva, and our own President, Retractor Lavanya. Thank you so much for your presence. Requesting the retractors to stay back, the girls who registered to take up the menstrual hygiene training to stay back in the same link, and happy retraction. Thank you all.